We had a couple drive from Atlanta just to eat our food. That's amazing. Like, they drove 4 hours for barbecue. Don't get me wrong, we've done it too, but it just, hearing that, we're like, that's incredible. Like, that's humbling that you would do that.
Being confident in your product that you're putting out is really big, but knowing how to manage that is even bigger. Because I think a lot of people crash and burn because they don't have that realistic business mindset.
We have 3 huge pillars we will live and die by: is making undeniably good food, having top-notch hospitality, and being consistent with the first 2. If somebody comes and goes, oh man, the brisket was really good on Monday, but I went on Thursday and it was so-so, that's not going to work. No matter how you're feeling, no matter what the weather's like, no matter what life circumstances are going on, it has to be the best possible thing you can produce every single day.
Welcome to the XPLR.NASH podcast. We are so glad that you are taking the time to listen to today's episode. Today, we are talking about the meats. We're talking about Texas barbecue, the difference between Texas barbecue and Memphis-style barbecue. And joining us today is the owners of Brazen Q, Nick and Kendra. Guys, thank you so much for this polo. Like, you are the first ones to ever show up in the studio and give me a branded polo. And I'm going to wear this at a lot of places. You guys are going to get advertising everywhere.
Yeah.
That's one of one.
It's one of one.
Yeah.
That nobody else has that
We
shirt.
don't even have it.
Yeah.
I don't even have that shirt.
Are you going to get one for yourself?
No.
Okay.
I don't. That's you, brother.
Yeah.
I don't want to take it from you.
Yeah. Well, I love the barbecue shirts. Like it reminds me of like, but it reminds me of bowling alley shirts, like old school people that worked at bowling alleys. Guys, you own one of the best barbecue restaurants in the state of Tennessee.
Oh, thank you.
Hands down, there's not a lot of people that can compare it to what you guys are doing. And there's a lot of people that say they do Texas style barbecue, but they're not doing Texas style barbecue. So congratulations on opening a restaurant in Livingston, Tennessee, of all places. Mm-hmm. Congratulations on that. And now you have a food truck. You guys are busy. So let's get your story of why did you get into barbecue?
So we used to be house parents.
What does that mean?
Yeah. So we worked with kids in group homes that were either in the foster system or sometimes they were privately placed. And so my brother-in-law, Al Fishburne, him and his wife are going to open up a food truck pretty soon too, doing like dirty sodas and stuff like that. But he's kind of the one who got me into it. Because he would do it all the time. And then we realized, okay, these places don't have big budgets. So how do we like kind of combat that, have good food for these kids? Because there was a lot of food trauma involved with a lot of these kids and stuff.
Oh, yeah, grocery deserts and
a lot
of things. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, we would have kids that one girl ate out of the dog bowl until, had to tell her, hey, you eat the table. And we'd have girls sometimes that would like break their food up into a bunch of pieces. And we're like, that's kind of weird. Like, make pancakes and they break it up. But we come to find out they would be homeless and more bites means more food.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So for us, food was very important. And so we realized I could cook a pork butt and that could go a pretty long way. And if you know what you're doing, you can make it taste pretty good. So that's kind of how I got into it and kind of watching my brother-in-law and stuff. And I'm either a feet first guy or it's kind of whatever. And I just leave it alone. And obviously we can see where that took us. So, I did the hardest meat first. I did brisket and on an offset smoker, like a stick smoker. So the 2 hardest things out there. And so it's kind of grown from there and just trying different stuff. And I had the best critics in the world for 7 years. Teenage girls.
Yeah.
They have all the feelings in the world. They don't need to worry about yours. And so they would just be honest, What
was the worst piece of feedback that you received from one of those girls?
Oh.
I mean, I think that the thing that they didn't really know, you try to teach them the meat, but they really didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Like you were doing ribs, and what did the one girl say?
Well, we did ribs,
chicken ribs.
No, and they go, oh, I don't eat pork, as they're mowing down on pork ribs, and I'm like, do you know what you're eating right now? And they're like, no, and I'm like, it's pork rib, and they go, It is?
Gasp.
Yeah. And then
anyone
I
ever throw
said,
anything
what
at
did
the
you
wall?
think it was?
No.
And they were like, I thought it was like chicken or something. And I'm like, chicken ribs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or
Got
like
it.
when they would tell you that.
Like, oh, your ribs
it
are better
was
last week, sir.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. I only spent 6 hours on these, so I'll go cry real quick and then we'll go and, have supper.
Yeah. So any negative feedback now, we just kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we got pretty thick skin as it is, but it was a lot of learning. So we got to do that, but it was good. And we figured if we could, have teenage girls like our food consistently, we might have something.
Yeah.
So
where did that come, like, from there? Where was the transition to opening your own concept?
Oh,
well, we kind of, what I more kind of wanted. I mean, God kind of had to work on you.
Yeah.
I left that in his hands.
he was pretty big on it, and it's probably just been within the last, 3 years, really. Like,
Yeah.
he really desperately just was miserable in everything that he was doing, and would
How long were you guys group parents
not
for?
really everything, but we were house parents for about 6
parents.
years.
7
Yeah,
years.
6 or 7
Okay.
years. And so it's not that he was miserable in what he was doing, but there was just a passion for something bigger.
Was there lack of fulfillment?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's those truly, like, being a house parent was like, especially in Texas, were some of the best years.
He kind of
ever.
found himself through the barbecue and providing that for the girls and the act of love that he would put into it, because it is a labor of love.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where that spark kind of happened for him. For me, I knew that it'd be a lot of work. Nick is our only pit master. And so when you're putting out that much meat all the time, I can't really assist with that, really. I don't know. I know the basics because of what Nick has told me and what I watched and stuff. But for me,
we would cook a lot too. Like, as a house parent, we would do we would be cooking for anywhere from like 10 to 14 people every day.
Yeah.
And in Texas, we worked 6 days on, had 3 days off. So 3 of those days that we were working, I was barbecuing.
Yeah.
And we would have girls from other houses want to come over and eat dinner at our house. And we would try to, we would try to work with other houses too and say, hey, I'm going to be smoking today. The cooker's going to be going.
Can you guys pay for some meat from that house?
Yes.
Well, that
he did like a whole hog for the whole girls community.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then some girls are like, I can't eat this pig. It was
because
the pig's name was Tennessee. It was kind of a foreshadowing.
That's a beautiful pig name.
And and it was a beautifully tasting pig too. Mm-hmm. It was delicious.
Very good.
But they're, I can't eat this. But then they would chop it up and put it in a burrito and they're like, this is so good.
Yeah.
Tennessee's
delicious.
But
it was a big labor of love for him. For me, I knew I'd have to do a lot of the back work and, leading the team. And
is this your first time being in the restaurant world?
Yes.
Well,
actually, the funniest story is that I've never worked in a restaurant before.
Okay.
So even in my high school years, never. So this is my first go around for a restaurant as the owner. So that's been really.
I've been a server before.
Okay.
So,
but have you worked in the back end of the management and the
No.
Okay.
No. But honestly, being a house parent kind of prepped us some for that too, because
you're ordering so much in bulk.
Well, not only that, but just like dealing with the personalities and the conflict and all of this stuff. And so, and it's very similar to it in that, there's certain employees that gravitate towards Kendra. There's certain employees that gravitate towards me. Same with when we were house parents. Some girls would gravitate towards me, someone gravitate towards her.
And I think also the flexibility, as house parents, there's 14 different schedules you're trying to follow because each girl has their own schedule. And so the flexibility in that and having to be flexible in that job was huge for us. Yep. Nick and I working under very stressful environments with our girls. They came from at-risk homes. They came from just a lot of chaos and, trying to bring that into, a calm home and a calm environment, so for us, we're able to be flexible. We're able to.
And work together.
Yeah. Our ovens went down.
Oh, and at the restaurant, the ovens went down and we're like, oh, no problem. I have 2 500-gallon ovens out there.
We know how to react very quickly, which was something we definitely had to do in house parenting.
Oh, yeah.
And so
the electric went out one time not a problem.
Yeah.
I was already smoking meat, and I had a propane stove we brought inside. We kept rolling. It was no big deal. And so
there are some things that cross over, but definitely the challenges, I think, have been like the financial side of things, and knowing, thankfully we have really great accountants who help us out with all of that. But as far as, and there's a lot of things that do cross over that you would kind of be shocked that do, that we didn't realize. But now it's like today we're just like, we know why we went through that because of where we're at today with this.
Who are some inspirations in the barbecue scene for you in Texas?
Man.
So the Texas Monthly Top 50 list just dropped today. And so
you're like, I'm booking a flight to Texas tomorrow, or
man. So we
absolutely would.
Here's what's really cool is that we were very fortunate enough to visit some of those places when we lived in Texas. And it was a Christmas/birthday gift right before we opened. It was in February. We got to go to Texas and hit as many spots as we could and get pictures with some of these guys and girls. And so for me, burnt bean just got number 1 in Texas, which is a big deal.
Yeah. They're about to be real busy.
Oh, they're busy anyway.
Already really.
Yeah.
Because they were number 4.
Okay.
It comes out every 4 years. So it's a really big deal to be even on that list. But the top 10.
It seems like I need to do this for Nashville and Tennessee, this list.
You should. There's nothing in Tennessee like this.
Oh, well, I'm about to introduce it. Thank you for the idea.
Absolutely should.
There you go.
Follow Daniel Vaughn.
Okay.
Daniel Vaughn. Barbecue Snob is his handle.
I'm pretty sure I follow him already.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and if you're watching, Daniel, please come and visit us. That would be great. So burnt beans. So there's Ernest Cervantes and Dave Kirkland, those two guys. And I said this even before this list came out. I said they're, in my opinion, the best all around restaurant, like barbecue restaurant, because their meat is on point, their desserts are on point, and their sides are incredible.
The hospitality
piece is there. Like everything there is just, it's a complete package. You'll go some places, like I love Franklin Barbecue. I like Aaron Franklin. His meat is sensational, but the sides and desserts are kind of, it's kind of whatever, but you don't really go there for desserts. Nobody's going there like, oh, man, I got to eat that mac and cheese.
You're definitely going for the brisket. If you're
100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
And his setup is pretty.
Have you guys heard the news that Terry Black's is opening in Nashville?
Oh,
really?
No.
Yeah.
Holy crow.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
That's a really big deal.
We've been compared to Terry Black, so
the beef ribs.
Yeah. Wow.
Terry Black's. So that's really interesting because they didn't make the list.
Not even in the top 50.
No.
Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it a lot of more startup
10.
barbecues?
Well, it's kind of just really cutthroat.
Okay.
It's like you have to be way innovative.
You can't just have really good brisket. You got to have good brisket sauce. You have to have kind of the whole package.
Yeah.
And so, but they have the top 10, then they'll do the rest, and they don't do that in any order, but top 10 they rank.
And then
there's
50.
the best of the rest, like honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And they were on that list, but they weren't on the top 50.
Okay.
But
No, Terry Black's is like an institution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've had a beef rib at Black's Barbecue before, and it was no bueno. It was slimy. It wasn't that great. Then we go to Terry Black's. Oh, that's when I fell in love.
So
it was
good.
amazing. I was like, okay, I want to do these when we open. But she made me wait. Smart idea. I'll admit it. But I said, we should start out with these beef ribs. She goes, no, we got to earn their trust with the basic stuff. If I'm going to a Mexican restaurant, I'm going to order the tacos. If you can do tacos right, then I'll trust you with some more complex whatever. So it's kind of like that sort of thing. So once we did that, we waited till August, and then we do beef ribs every Friday, and we've sold out just about every week of the beef ribs. So
in your transition to Tennessee, there was a really terrible situation that happened. What's the other words for it? You developed throat cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So walk us through that whole story.
So that was interesting. So we were in Indiana.
You're finishing up your contract, right? Or was it a contract-based thing?
No, not really. It was
particularly. It was just
we were house parents at a children's home out there.
Yeah. And I was shaving, and I just noticed a lump, and it wasn't like like a crazy zit or something where it was like it's probably will just go down. Like I kept feeling it and I'm like, this is a little bit bigger than normal, whatever. And so then we went and got it checked out and they did a biopsy on it. And then they said, well, it was kind of inconclusive. We want to send you back for another one, which was lovely, by the way. I really recommend getting a needle stuck in your neck multiple times. It was super. So they had to do it 2 times. The second time they go, we got to go a little bit deeper. This time I was laying on my side looking at the screen as they're doing it. And it was like an ultrasound thing. So every time they went in there, I could see it on the screen. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. So came back. So that happened, waiting on results and stuff like that. We come down here to Tennessee for like your birthday week, which is the beginning of August-ish, and found a spot that we'd been talking about where we wanted to go. We were looking at Indianapolis because that's where we were, and we were like, well, that'd be the next big city or whatever, but we couldn't find anything that was reasonably priced as far as a building goes. And we didn't want to pay an arm and a leg and just start out like that and just start out really in the hole. So, my stepfather-in-law and mother-in-law live in Tennessee in Salina. He was originally born in Monterey. So, and we would go visit them. And so that's kind of how we even knew about that area. And so they just started looking kind of down here. And, we looked at a few spots. And do you want to tell
they ended up taking us to,
but all the God moments that happen with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can.
Well,
first of all, like going back to his throat cancer. So we were waiting for the biopsies to happen. We came out here, and during that time, it was really just stressful. You know, we were taking care of, these girls were very at risk. I mean, they had terrible home lives. It was just, I feel like it was probably our harder moments of being a house parent.
Outside of the first.
Yeah, outside of California. But so it was just really hard, you know, really stressed out, just thinking about like what could happen. I had finally gotten on board to be like, yes, let's do a restaurant, and just kind of changing my heart and my thoughts on things. And so we, one day I was just really stressed out. I texted my stepdad and my mom, and I said, hey, pray for me. I'm just really, really stressed out. Well, little did I know he was standing in this parking lot of this building, and just, he was kind of like looking in and seeing what was going on inside of it.
There was no for sale or lease.
Yeah, no for sale sign, no for lease. Building. And so when we came out, the beginning of August, we were getting ready to go to a different building that we had kind of been looking at. And they took us to this one building that he had been standing in and told us about it. And Nick and I were like, well, where did you find this? And he was like, well, the day that you had texted, I was actually in this parking lot. And so Nick and I got out of the car and we're looking, and we're just like, I don't know, just like this overwhelming peace kind of comes over me. Nick was just kind of like ready to be done with where we were at in life anyway.
You could have been like, hey, this box is for sale on the side of the road. You could open up there and be like, all right, let's go. Yeah, I don't care.
He was just done. So then we went to this other building, and, you know, I wasn't really like feeling it, not really feeling like that's where we should go. And so I'm trying to kind of think of the next steps after that. But with this building, my mom had found out the person who had owned the building. And so she had reached out to them and called them and had to leave a message. And so this was on Friday. It was like the weekend. And so we really didn't think we would hear back anything until Monday. And that was true. You know, we didn't, but we, just all of us started praying about it. You know, we were like, if this is where we're supposed to go, you know, I was just filled with so much like emotion and angst and everything with not knowing, you know, cancer runs pretty heavily in my family. And so I was very terrified. Nick was
not in my family.
Yeah.
It doesn't run. It's
Nick was just kind of like, if it happens, it happens. You know, if that's what it is what it is. And so,
well, and the reason is, number one, it doesn't run in my family. And two, cancer anymore is not a death sentence. There's a lot of like cures, and, you know, they stink to go through, but there is a lot of stuff out there. Whereas back in the day, you get that and that's it.
So we just, you know, prayed about it throughout the week and throughout the weekend. And my mom ended up, I think, getting a phone call back. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
And we were at the cabin.
So we were at the cabin at that point. And actually the day before that, it had been raining. And the thing about this building is this building had flooded. And so there's a pond behind it, and this building had flooded, and it sat empty for what, almost 5 years? Yeah.
5 years, yeah.
So it sat empty. And so when we were coming down the hill into Livingston, there was this beautiful rainbow because it had just got done raining. And it looked as if the rainbow was going to end at the building. And we were like, how funny would that be if this rainbow ended at this building? You know, just signs from God or whatever. And so we get closer, and the rainbow did end at the building. And so we're just kind of like, oh my goodness, how ironic.
Was that your first time driving through a rainbow? Like seeing the colors?
No.
Oh, okay. It was just ending there.
Yeah.
It was ending there.
I was in Kentucky once, and I actually drove through the edge of the rainbow, and you can see the colors through the window of the car. It's bizarre.
That
is
awesome.
awesome.
It was a very bizarre thing to experience.
Yeah. So
and it's kind of funny too, because the rainbow is a reminder that it's not going to flood again.
It's not going to flood
which
again.
is really good because we really don't want that building to flood.
Yeah.
And
so we got home, and my mom ended up getting a phone call back from them on Monday morning, wasn't it?
Sure.
I think it was Monday morning. It's vaguely in my mind now. But so she gets this phone call, and she goes into the other room, and my stepdad looks at Nick, and he says, if God's
in it, they'll be interested.
They'll be interested. And so my mom comes out of the room, and she's like, you will never believe this. She was like, that family had just been sitting around last night talking about how awesome it would be if a really good barbecue place came in town.
Oh, that's a coincidence.
And so we were like, okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's a nice little wink.
Yeah. So we ended up setting up a time to meet with them. And, you know, Nick and I just started praying together. We were listening to a song by C.C. Winans that was The Goodness of God. And that just kind of became like our song for that moment in our life. And so my mom was like, you know, if the Lord is in this, like, they're all going to show up. So it was a sweet lady and her daughter. They had a salon in there, Merle Norman, and so they were going to show up, and then we were hoping that her daughter's husband would also show up.
Yeah.
And so in comes Pat, is her name of the owner of the building, and we just all get to talking, and then her daughter comes, and then her daughter's husband comes, and we're just all sitting around talking, and it just felt like such a divine connection, you know. And she said so many people had wanted this building. You know, boutiques had called, restaurants had called. You know, there was a mussel factory down the road that had called, and she said, but she stops in the moment, and she said, but this just feels so right. And we're just like, oh my goodness. And so we were able to go in.
So that was on your same trip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same trip.
Okay.
So we were able to go in, and, you know, my mom and stepdad were here. Nick and I had to go back to Indiana. And so it was really hard kind of waiting on the process of like, what would the rent be, and going back and forth on, you know, because it was literally a clean slate for us. You know, we went in and we
gutted it. We took it down to the studs.
I mean,
found termites. So that was fun.
Yeah. But no mold, you know, nothing like that. That was like super crazy. But my poor stepdad and mom were kind of stuck here dealing with all of that. But we went back to Indiana, and he got a phone call from the doctor
the following week.
Yeah. And
well, he called multiple times, and I'm like, I don't know if this is good. If a ear, nose, and throat guy is calling you multiple times trying to get a hold of you, that probably isn't a good sign. So
he ended up being diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma of the head and neck. So for me, that was, it was hard for me to bear. It was really, really difficult time for me. So we ended up going through 7 weeks of
7 weeks of radiation.
What stage was the cancer?
So it was stage 2 because I had this lump here, but I also had a lump here. So each of them were stage 1. So combined, they were stage 2. So I did 7 weeks of chemo and radiation. For the radiation, I would go Monday through Friday. It only took seriously like maybe 20 minutes, but I would go there, and I'd never experienced like cancer stuff at all in my family. It's typically like orthopedic or cardiac stuff. So I would go there, take my shirt off. I'd lay on this table, and I'd have this mask that they would like snap around my face that they had molded around it. So they would snap me to the table, and then I'm such a big guy with like broad shoulders and stuff. And so they would put like wraps around my wrists and then around my feet, so it'd bring my shoulders in. But they noticed after the first time or two that my elbows were still kind of hitting the thing, so they would have to then strap my elbows in. So I was like fully strapped to this
every
table
single day,
every day, Monday through Friday.
And he was driving himself.
And then
I couldn't go. I mean, I was there
Yeah, 'cause
at
we're
work.
still-
with house
still working.
parents.
Yeah, yeah.
And
We're
then-
literally like 6 a.m. till like 11 o'clock at night. At this job,
it was like
you know?
a 80-hour-a-week kind of thing. And then on Fridays, I would do that and then go do 4 hours of chemo. So that was interesting. But
What did you learn during that process?
So my goal in that process was, because those people, the workers, see people that are just downtrodden and like having a horrible day, and rightfully so. I mean, they're going through horrible treatments and stuff. So my goal was to be like the bright spot on their day. So I'm joking with them. I'm teasing with them. I would cook for them. Like
Oh, they love that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, like the man, like what was it? 6 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks into radiation and chemo.
I don't know if it was that. Was that
It
long?
was at least 4 or 5 weeks.
Okay.
He made 100 chicken thighs for these guys.
I
Like,
brined them in pickle
smoking
juice
like
and then
crazy.
smoked 100 chicken thighs and took them in.
What type of pickles are you talking?
I think it was just the juice.
Like was it like a dill or like a sweet?
a dill.
It was more of a dill. Yeah.
Okay.
And I like brined them in that. I
It
just
tastes
made
like
the
Chick-fil-A,
juice.
but way better.
Oh,
Yeah.
nothing compared to Chick-fil-A.
And so I took them in and I said, okay, they're going to look a little green, but I promise they're not moldy. It's just that we find them.
I do that all the time at home with
Oh, it's
chickens
so
and
good.
pickles. And then I throw in some whiskey sometimes.
Oh,
Oh, that would be really good.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if I took the Alabama white sauce we do
I can't
or not,
I
but
think you did with some buns or something.
yeah, we took buns or whatever. My thing is like, it's the least I could do. You're kind of saving my life, that whole thing. And so for me, it was a unique opportunity. And I kind of likened it to like Paul a little bit when he was in jail. And the guard was probably like, this sucker, he's chained to me and he can't get away. When really Paul was like, this sucker, he's chained to me and he can't get away.
Yeah.
So my thought process was, they got to see me. Like they can't not see me.
Lucky them.
So yeah. So I would go in there. I would joke with them all the time. I would try my best to try and just be a bright spot. And truly like going through chemo, that was really interesting because I didn't understand what chemo was. And they used one of the most aggressive forms of chemo on me. And so I didn't know it was like through like an IV or whatever. And I ended up getting the port in there, which was, did not like that. But what I found out through chemo was you're never the worst person in the room. Mm-hmm. You're never the worst person in the room. There was a lady who was like 80 some years old and getting chemo treatments. And I'm like, holy cow. Like, I know what this is doing to me. I can't imagine, she's probably just absolutely wiped. And then there was a girl who was like college age. She had it in her tailbone. They surgically removed it, but she still had to go get chemo as like a preventative thing to make sure it's all killed off. She'd have to do 9 hours of chemo Monday through Friday.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And so I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I'm definitely not the worst person in the room.
And it depleted him.
Oh, it depletes everybody. Everyone I've ever talked
I
to.
can't even imagine what it's,
9 hours a day, 5 days
he
a
went
week.
through
it was rough.
He hit a wall about 6 or 7 weeks. 7.
Yeah, it was about week 7. I did 7 weeks. And it was funny because my doctor, my oncologist, hematology
oncologist.
About 4 weeks in, he goes, are you able to go to like Walmart or like Walgreens or CVS or whatever and just kind of walk around? I'm like, yeah. And I said, I'm still working, right? And he goes, like 40 hours a week. And I said, try 80 hours a week. Like house parenting is exhaustive. And he goes, are you serious right now? I said, why do people not work right now? And he goes, no.
Yeah.
He goes, they're typically like out like on like a sick leave thing. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like,
no one ever told me this.
I didn't get the memo.
Like he was grooving, he would obviously nap a whole lot more, but he grooved until about week 6, and he just hit a wall.
6 and then 7.
He couldn't
and
eat.
I just couldn't eat anymore, and I had to get a feeding tube, which was lovely. And so it was just, hey, I'm hungry. do that thing.
He got put in the hospital November during.
It was during Thanksgiving. It's like my favorite holiday of the year.
Yeah.
Because
Of 23 or
23. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I was in there, and it was what was it? Was it the chemo or the radiation? It caused pneumonia.
It was chemo-induced pneumonia, just because it depletes
Everything in you.
Yeah.
And so we were in the hospital for a good week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good week that we were in the hospital. So he ended up having, a feeding tube. And then we moved out here in December of 2023. And
so was the cancer was killed at this point.
Well,
treatments
they were
ended
done.
November 7th.
But he still had his feeding tube. So we came with the feeding tube and then went back to Indiana and got his feeding tube removed.
Yeah.
But there's residual effects now. I think that he probably has a harder time with it now than he did going through.
Right.
But
because I can't eat spicy anything anymore.
Yeah.
He had lymphedema of the neck pretty bad for a long time.
Yeah. I can't really do like hamburger or rice because it's like crumbly almost, and I'll get choked up on it.
Which is really challenging.
Being in barbecue,
and not being able to try.
I'll make stuff and be like, somebody tell me if it's good.
Yeah.
Like if it's spicy at all, I'm like, let me know.
Yeah, or like Brock, our sausage chef, will make the sausages, and thankfully he can do like our Texas hot guts, which is probably the spiciest.
That's the most I can do. But yeah. So what did I learn? I learned that it's kind of all in how your perspective of it. Like, cancer sucks. Anybody that has to go through it, I get it. But I tried to have a different perspective on it as like I would never have seen these people ever in my life probably, but this way I got to see them and they had to see me. And so let's make the best of it and just try to be kind of a witness to them. Just be nice to them. They're dealing with the worst of the worst every day, and it's draining. And so trying to just have a good perspective. Yeah. Sometimes I need to remind myself of that, and we don't need any comments from the peanut gallery. But
so how long? Okay, so you guys moved to Tennessee December of 23. Mm-hmm. How long did the build out take?
Too long.
Well, in Nick's mind, too long. He's very like, when he says he wants it now. Yeah. He is like, he's very patient with a lot of things, but then there's other things that he's not so patient with. But we started the build out probably in October of 23. And they were. But
that's when they were knocking down this one wall. That's when they found the termites,
and that
which
paused it for a little bit in November.
Of course, everything.
Yeah. The building and everything was done by February of 2024.
Okay.
So Nick and I, he got his smokers. We had, poured concrete, and is that right? Poured concrete.
Yeah.
Poured concrete and put the smokers on the concrete, and then he was able to start practicing more on those smokers and becoming the pit master he is on those smokers.
We poured the concrete, got the cookers in, and then built like a shed around the cookers.
Yeah.
And that way, like the smokestacks go up out of the ceiling. Then we put a boot on it. So that way, if it rains or snows or whatever, it's not pouring in there.
The incredible story with that is that he was so weak. He had just gotten done.
I got my feeding tube out like maybe a week before.
Yeah. A week before.
And so I was really weak. My muscle was depleted, all that stuff. So, and I intentionally got cookers that did not have the offset weight. So it's the full weight of the door. It's like 75 pounds per door. And I wanted that because I thought it's kind of like earning your stripes kind of thing, and it's almost like I didn't deserve the nice, like you can lift with one finger sort of things. I'm like, I need to do this old school sort of thing. So when we got the cookers, I was really excited, and I go over to the doors, and I had to like almost do like an Olympic lift to try and get the door up with both hands. And I lifted it up, and I was like, oh, man.
He was pretty nervous. He was like,
I was really nervous. Like, am I going to be able to do this? Like, I'm going to have to do this door at multiple times every day on both of these cookers. And so now one hand, it's nothing right now. So it's truly like a testament of how God worked in that, in that just looking at the strength level of being like replenished, and almost even more so, I would say, in a lot of ways. Yeah. So it's just really cool to see that, and almost kind of being rewarded for having kind of the right attitude and just the blessing that we're getting from that. So
what's been the biggest thing you guys have learned from operating a restaurant?
Man, there's a lot. There's a lot.
I think that when you go into something like this, you have a little bit of like a rose-colored glasses type thing.
Oh.
Nick would always say, is my barbecue really good enough to sell and people would love it? And I always supported that. I always would be like, you're crazy.
Then I got nervous too. I'm like, okay, the kids liked it, but will people like in Tennessee like it? And she's like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Good food is good food no matter where you go.
No matter where you go.
And so I'm like,
I
okay,
think
fine.
that just kind of, I guess like learning, I think the hardest thing was probably learning the culture, of which we were in. So we knew Livingston, we knew the area, but we didn't know the area. We had never lived there. My biggest piece of advice for anybody who would be going into something like this would be move to that area for at least a year before you started out. That's kind of been a little bit of a challenge, is knowing like your restaurants kind of move, like everything kind of moves with the school system there. So if they're out of school, you're maybe a little bit slower, and so that's kind of been something
like
that I've learned. Yeah. For breaks and stuff like that. I'm also learning a lot that the most consistent thing about food industry is the inconsistencies. You have
everything, staff, everything,
just
food quality.
We always liken it to, you are inviting the entire town to a party.
There's no
RSVP.
Yep.
You don't know if they're going to show up. You don't know if, you could have a super rainy day and you're
destroys business,
or you're flooding with business.
Yep.
It's not in between.
It's like, I don't want to cook. It's dreary out. I don't even want to cook.
Yeah. Or they're just like, I don't want to get out. So it's like one day it could be super rainy and we could do great numbers. And then the next day it's super rainy and barely anybody comes in, so that's
and
such
Tennessee,
a learning thing.
How do I word this? They're a little more afraid of weather than what we're used to.
Yeah.
She's from Indiana. I'm from Ohio. I drive on ice.
Yeah.
Because my tires are made for ice.
Yeah.
I opted to get the rubber tires and not the sugar ones, so my tires don't melt. My tires are bigger than 3 inches of snow. So,
but when it like snows, 2 weeks out of the year here,
it shuts down everything.
It just shuts it all down.
And so we only did it one time because the blizzard was coming. And so we delivered in a non 4-wheel drive car just fine. But we delivered. We'd never done that before. Haven't done it since, but it was just kind of comical. I mean, we now have a truck that is a 4x4. So if we would do that again, we'd do something like that. But it was just kind of like, sure, I'll brave this terrible weather to bring you some barbecue. And I mean, a lot of people ordered too.
Yeah. But you went above and beyond.
Yeah.
To make sure people were fed.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So then now you have their loyalty.
Yeah. For
Because they're like, I remember that time that storm came through and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the cool things too with having a restaurant is that we get to fuel that community. And like, and one of our big things, we have 3 huge pillars we will live and die by is making undeniably good food, having top-notch hospitality, and being consistent with the first 2 for sure. And so for us, that's part of the hospitality piece. And we're fortunate enough to be able to fuel that community, and we tell our new employees, this could possibly be the best part of somebody's day coming in here. I have yet to see someone who's like really mad eating good barbecue. It's really difficult to do.
It's kind of heresy.
It's got to be really hard, So just trying to be, and us being nice. I mean, if you come in our restaurant and somebody doesn't say hi to you, somebody's getting chewed out.
Yeah. Because
that's just what we do. And so I'm not saying that we're like necessarily Chick-fil-A, but we're not far behind, and So we're just, I don't know. We just really want people to come in there. And honestly, like with our restaurant, it's kind of almost like it's our house and you just happen to stop by because we're going to come out and talk with you. We want to know how the food is. We want to get to know people. And so that's part of the fun stuff for us too. We had a couple drive from Atlanta just to eat our food. Yeah, I'm going to sit down and talk with you. That's amazing. Like they drove 4 hours for barbecue. Don't get me wrong. We've done it too, but it just hearing that we're like, that's incredible. Like that's humbling that you would do that. So yeah, I mean, and then we have the regulars, we know what they get. And so that's, I don't know. I love that part of it too. Being able to do that.
Being in business for a year, what's been your biggest failure?
We have so many to pick from.
I know. I don't know. I have a hard time sometimes with the word failure just because.
Well, let's do struggle.
I feel, yeah. I think struggle for me personally would be, I'm not a huge fan of like the firing process. You know, I don't like to put somebody out of a job. I think that's kind of been really difficult to assemble a team who will be for you in your dream, you know, and that's where we have such a phenomenal crew right now.
Buying in.
Yeah. Just like the buy-in. And so, for us right now, we have such an incredible team. Like I wish they could all stay forever. Some of them are very young and will probably go to other things. But I think that's been the thing is that the educational piece is a big struggle. People are very used to Memphis-style, you know.
It's a whole different world.
Yeah. People are used. I'm used to sauce. You know, I'm used to a lot of sauce growing up. Yeah. You know, we just loved barbecue sauce. But when we moved to Texas, and the first time I ever had Texas-style barbecue, I couldn't even believe that
the meat should always speak for itself.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, absolutely.
And being like from Ohio and Indiana, it was almost like you overcook the meat, throw some sauce on it. That's barbecue.
Yeah.
And that's not barbecue.
And that's a horrible representation of barbecue. And like what we have found too in Tennessee, if Nashville West, you're going to get Memphis style. This is typically Nashville East. You're going to get Carolina vinegar based, that kind of stuff. So
which both have their places.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And it's not wrong. I mean, one of them's wrong, but it's not wrong.
What's your real thoughts on?
Don't ask him.
Okay,
I want to tell you.
Hey, let's do it. Let's get into the controversy.
I just
why
putting rub on at the end.
Yeah.
You need to cook with the rub, so I'll let you figure out which one that is. And vinegar typically is for cleaning. So
yeah.
And so I'm just saying, I'm not saying I don't like vinegar. I'm weird now. I've barbecued so much. I like the smell of apple cider vinegar. That's how I knew I had COVID. I took a shot of apple cider vinegar and it tasted like water. And I was like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
So, but Texas,
yeah,
I think for me, it's more of how you cook it. It's the simplicity of it. And I think a lot of times guys and girls will overcomplicate and, I got to do this with this rub. And I have 13 ingredients that go in this, and that's cool. And I've had stuff that was amazing that had all those things in it. But for me, when we went to Texas and we would go, what's in this brisket rub? Salt and pepper.
That's all it should be.
Yeah.
And like when I'm doing a steak, salt and pepper. My pork rub, salt, pepper, paprika. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm truly a KISS method guy, and Texas really aligns with that. Yeah. So I think that's why that works. But when we had barbecue before, different places, it was always sauce dependent. And then we went to Texas and we're like, this needs no sauce. In fact, it's almost an insult.
I shouldn't share this story, but I'm going to. We went to a place recently and they brought out naked St. Louis style ribs.
Oh. So no rub?
No rub, nothing. It just straight pork with no seasoning. It was awful. And then we're like, I sent it back. And they're like, oh, well, we usually sauce these ribs because it's St. Louis style. And they sauce it, and it was okay. But I'm just like, this was... I'll show you some photos afterwards. And yeah,
yeah,
it was an experience for sure.
Yeah.
How did our video impact your business?
Holy crow.
Oh my goodness.
Impact is a...
So we weren't quite ready for what happened. I will say.
Mark it and clip it, boys. There we are.
Yeah, truly. Because you guys dropped that video on a Thursday. And
this is
with no warning, by the way.
This is we need to start warning people.
I mean, I don't know if it would have mattered, to be honest, if we had a warning or not.
It doesn't.
Because the thing is we
didn't. We had already had our meat set for the week.
So we trim briskets, we trim everything on Monday. Yeah. So we have a crew, an awesome crew that comes in and helps us out with that. And so everything is ordered on Sunday. We get everything on Monday. Ribs are done on Monday, trimmed. Briskets are trimmed. The sausages are made on Tuesday. So everything is ready for our week besides our sides.
Yeah.
And so when we got hit on Thursday...
Because we came out with the video, I think, at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that we went from 480 some followers on Instagram, which has been we've been slow to get followers on that. And literally, I think the next day we had over 1,000. I think it was 1,200 at that point.
Yeah. Easily. That Saturday was madness. And this is back when I was still slicing on Saturdays. And so I'm up there, I'm expecting not that crazy of a whatever, kind of a little bit, because Friday was pretty nuts too. I believe we sold out, and we're open 11 until 7.
At 11, okay.
Is that the time you messaged me and you sold out in like 49 minutes?
That was the next Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the next Wednesday.
Well, we'll tell you about that.
Yeah.
On Saturday, we opened at 11.
And we sold out by 3:30 that day.
Yeah.
That's
the
awesome.
line did not stop. The
and
door
Saturday
did not close.
Is that the one that you sent me where you just kept following the line?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was wild. And we're just like, oh okay.
Then that next week, we were like, I mean, surely it'll kind of slow down, right?
We're like,
thinking,
it's just going to be locals.
Wednesday, we're only open 11 to 3. It's just going to be locals. Let's just go with what we know.
What we normally do.
Let's just go what we normally do. Because we're always evaluating our numbers and how much to do. Dumb idea. Like, we should have just done a whole lot more. We were sold out by 12:30.
Yeah.
And we opened at 11. And so that was insane. That went on. I mean, we were selling out by 5. He would up more. He would up more. He would up more. We had people coming from.
What's the furthest somebody drove?
During that
Atlanta?
time,
Was
Atlanta has been the farthest.
Okay. Well, was that from us?
Yes and no.
Yes.
Okay.
So they had been told about us, and then
they
saw
found the video.
Okay.
I think the video was kind of like we
solidified.
Like we want to go, but we're not sure. They see the video and they're like, yeah, we should definitely go. We've had from Indiana. So technically the furthest, although they were coming to Nashville anyway, but technically the furthest are our friends that work in Alaska and Point Hope, Alaska.
That wasn't from the XPLR.NASH.
That wasn't from XPLR.NASH, but that's technically our furthest one.
That's still pretty cool.
Yeah. But from y'all, I mean, a lot of Nashville people. I mean, a lot of Murfreesboro.
We had one little girl come on Friday.
Twice for the dino rib.
Wow.
Just by yourself.
She's like, I like dinosaurs a lot, and so I wanted to try your dino beef rib. And we're like, okay.
Came and ate.
Just came by herself. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a lot of Nashville people.
Oh,
a lot of this area.
In fact, our sausage was last month was Nashville hot.
Yeah.
And it was pork based, but it was like we did like crushed red peppers, but we blended them up even more, cayenne pepper, and then we used like a Frank's Red Hot. And so the color was beautiful. It was this nice red sausage.
Yeah.
And the flavor, I was told, because I'm not touching that, was really, really good. Yeah. We did that because we were like, okay, we're getting Nashville people in. Maybe they would want something Nashville kind of related. So we did that.
But it was just so intense. I mean, it was.
If you don't mind me asking, how much revenue do you guys think you made?
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't have to be a hard number, just an estimate.
Yeah. So, man, we probably jumped weekly about $7,000 more.
Wow.
Than what we were doing.
That's awesome.
A week.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, even still.
Oh, you're going to see the effects of it for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Even still.
I mean, it's definitely, May, I feel like, has kind of been our hardest month. It was
last
our hardest
year
month
and
last year and our hardest.
Oh, it's because of school's going out. People are going on vacation.
Yes, people are saving up for that.
And then they're spending money on the bigger vacations.
Offsetting that though, people are coming to Dale Hollow Lake.
Yep.
And so last year we didn't I'm not saying we didn't have the locals like bought in just yet. We had some, but a lot of people didn't even know we existed still.
Yeah.
And so this year they know we exist. So if somebody comes in from out of town to Dale Hollow and they go, hey, where's a really good spot to go eat? Or if you want barbecue or whatever, we're going to be on their radar some. Plus we have like Google reviews, you guys.
Yeah.
So we have,
And I'm going to be in the Upper Cumberland a lot
Yeah.
over the next few months.
well,
It was, I mean, it was so fun for our crew.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just loved the intensity of it. You know, people coming in and the line and, and we
It's a lot
always
more
go
fun
off
when you're
of like
busy.
the sold out concept. You know, that is what we always go by. Our phone, we could not answer the phone. I mean, it was just off the hook. I mean, we were getting phone call after phone call and we felt bad because
normally we're taking call-in orders.
when we can, And so I was incredibly stressed out. I learned,
You're welcome.
truly, like,
Thank you.
Yeah.
it was truly so bad that I forgot a bulk catering order today. That was rough.
Yeah.
That was hard.
That was your fault.
That was totally my fault. And I will take.
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm just
No, okay, no, I'm kidding.
just throwing it out there. All right.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
your
yeah.
fault. I'm just kidding. So with
Only
that,
two.
my crew was so awesome. They just jumped in real quick and got all this stuff ready. And, but that was when I was like, you know what? This is teaching me so much because now we have like better processes set in place for stuff like that. And
Your systems will make or break you.
yes,
100%.
Yeah.
And if you don't have systems, as an operator, if you don't have systems in place, you will fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Simple as that.
And so talking
And
about
we had
going back
it,
to
but
the failure
we had
thing,
the people come into that system,
going back to
was-
the failure thing or whatever we want to call it. I would say, I don't know that it would be a failure, but one of the things that we struggled with, yes, teaching not only their customers kind of how it worked, because a lot of people would come in and like sit down and expect the server to come out.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work like that. It's more like a Chipotle kind of style with Texas barbecue and stuff. So is that, but also teaching our employees. So for me, I'm teaching them how to trim briskets. That's fun. And
Especially in a culture that doesn't know
Actual real brisket.
at all.
Yeah.
Like at all.
and so, and I'm still teaching. Like on this Monday, I was just fine tuning some of the stuff. And
I think I need to come take a class. A brisket
talked
cutting
about-
class.
we talked about having classes where I
I think you definitely should have classes.
do that.
They're very profitable.
Yeah.
So we talked about doing that, but then I would definitely say, having processes in place and having your numbers right. If you don't track your numbers, and we use Square, I love Square. We use Square for our POS. We use Square Teams. So we communicate with our team all through Square. We have our paperwork for them. So when they get the thing to log in, all of their paperwork, like onboarding paperwork, is there. And so it works out really well for us. We love it. We know we probably pay a little bit more in whatever. I'll gladly pay it for the convenience of it. So, but it's you can get reports from that all the time. And so we do numbers every week and we see, did we profit? Did we lose money? Did we whatever? And truly, like, since you guys have come, we are, and they say it was the first 3 years you don't really see profit. We're seeing profit now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're being able to do that, which means then we can pour back into our employees. We can pour back into, like, we don't use bad quality meat or things like that. We start with the best that we can get. So we can do a lot cooler specials. We're able to do the trailer. Like, there's a lot of different things like that. So, and it's cool for us because we get to take the experiences that we've had in Texas or other places that have food where we go, this is killer. Let's bring this back to where we're at and share that experience. So then other people can go, oh man, that is killer. And we give credit where credit's due. We had this one green spaghetti, which was, man, you have to give out a lot of samples of that because people are like, green spaghetti.
Yeah.
I don't even tell me what it is. I don't even know.
So there's a girl named Chuck, and she's a pit master, and she was actually the pit master for Goldie's, which was
Who used to be back in 2021 up until today. They were the number one barbecue spot in all of
Yeah.
Texas.
I've heard of Goldie's.
Yeah. So she was a pit master for them. And
When they
now
got number
she's-
one.
Yeah. So now she's opened up her own place called Barb's BQ in Lockhart.
She killing it or no?
Oh yeah.
Killing it.
She made the
Phenomenal.
top 50 list. And the thing, here's what kills me too. People say don't meet your heroes because you'll be let down. I must have low standards, or the barbecue community is just awesome, because
Yeah.
all of these pit masters that I've met and been influenced by, they're all super nice. They like, and the thing is, in Texas, they'll tell you how to do it. They'll tell you what rubs they use. They'll tell you all of the steps. They'll even let you use their cookers, and then they'll sit back and go, good luck.
Yep. Have fun.
Yeah.
Because
Have fun watching that meat for 16 hours.
yeah,
Have fun.
there's a process to it. And so, but we did the green spaghetti, and it's like a rich poblano sauce, and it's done in like a certain valley in Mexico. It's not all over, but this one place, and it's where she grew up, and it's for celebratory stuff. So quinceañeras, graduations, weddings, stuff like that. So it's typically celebratory stuff. So she does it at her restaurant, her mom's recipe. And this one here was able to, she showed 3 ingredients in a video online, and she goes, I bet I could figure that out. Now we've been there. We've talked with her. I got a picture with her. And so it's up on the wall and stuff. But she was able to dial in our version of it, and people loved it. They still do. People still request that all the time.
We used to do it on Mondays. When
We used to do, when we were open on Mondays, we would do it then.
Yeah.
So you
But
are you combining it with like brisket and then like
chicken. So it would be a side dish, or like you'd put his pulled chicken thighs on it.
Yeah, we would do, it's just spaghetti with this poblano sauce on top, and it is
sounds amazing.
so
it sounds amazing.
good.
Yeah.
And then, we would do the chicken thighs. We would smoke the chicken thighs and stuff and do those on there. So,
What's your favorite cut of meat?
ooh, to cook or to eat?
Both.
I really, really, really love to eat beef cheek.
Mhm.
It is,
It's delicious. Yeah.
if done right.
Yeah.
And how we do it is I'll smoke it, and I'll get a good bark on it, and then we confit it overnight. So we will then put it in our beef tallow in like a metal pan. We'll do plastic wrap and then foil, and let it sit in the warmer at 200 degrees overnight. And then it becomes so tender, you can squeeze it and it'll just fall apart, but it has enough connective tissue in it that you can still slice it. And that's what we'll do, is we'll
How
slice
often are you doing the beef cheek? Because that sounds
Well, that's funny.
remarkable.
He really wants to put it on the menu.
I don't know if
all
the
the
market.
time.
I don't know if the market will accept it.
I know. That's where I'm.
So for our birthday months, we get to pick the specials each week and the sausage of the month. So my birthday month, I went kind of Mexican in that the sausage wasn't really Mexican. It was Portuguese, but I did linguiça. And then we did, week 1 was beef cheek. Week 2 was al pastor. Week 3 was tamales, like pork tamales. And then week 4 was the other part of the beef cheek. And we did street tacos with barbacoa.
Oh yeah.
And so I knew the beef cheeks would be either feast or famine.
Yep.
They're either going to love it or they're going to be like, sold out. So once they knew what it was, and if we would give them we said, do you like brisket? Yeah. Okay, cool. Because they would come in and be like, beef cheek. And I'm like, not the butt cheek.
No.
It's the face cheek.
But that's even the same. Like, it was good that Saturday, but like you said, I just don't know, because even like the tri-tip, like people don't know.
People have no idea what tri-tip is.
People don't know what tri-tip is.
And tri-tip is one of the best meats ever.
Yes.
Yes.
See, that's what I love that he does.
I love
that he does.
Yeah.
All of it's so good, but I love the tri-tip. And so for us, like, we did the tri-tip that Saturday and it just blew it out the water. And there's other days we do it and it doesn't really do that well. And that's what I fear with beef cheek, just because people don't really know about
So my favorite
but
to eat would be beef cheek. My favorite to cook,
I saw a video recently
That'd be brisket.
of it was in Morocco, and basically it's the same thing with the beef, but they sun dry this beef for like 20 days on top of these like roofs in this city, and then they put it in beef fat and they let it sit in the beef fat for like a week. Maybe I may be getting my days
almost
wrong.
like rehydrating.
Rehydrating it, and then they cook it afterwards, and it looks phenomenal.
that sounds
Yeah.
I just would love to try that, but I feel like the Board of Health might have an issue.
That's why they don't do it here in America.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Favorite to eat. Or cook.
Brisket.
Yeah.
Probably brisket. That's kind of our signature thing.
Yeah.
My least favorite to cook is anything poultry. I hate poultry.
But you sell so much of it.
We do, and I think the reason I hate poultry is because of like the salmonella thing.
Yep.
Like that, you have to be like
the way you handle it, the way you do everything. Yep.
Anything with poultry, I got to change my gloves. I got to, make sure that it's always on the bottom in the fridge and all this stuff. And it's just like this high.
And he
meat.
loves like longer smokes, I feel like.
Yeah.
Than the quicker.
Have you ever done bison?
So there is a Lazy G Ranch in Cookeville, and they have bison. And we're working on that. That is going to be one of our specials this year, is to do bison ribs. So like it'd be like almost like a beef rib type.
You let me know, I'll be there.
We will.
So I would love to do that. We just found out from one of our distributors we can actually get kangaroo. And
so you want to smoke that thing?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Not a whole kangaroo. It's like a
sausage.
It's like a tenderloin type of deal. But the thing is, people used to hunt them over in Australia because they're kind of equivalent almost to like our deer.
Yeah.
So they can be.
Oh, they have, right now they have overgrowth of kangaroo.
Yeah. Which is insane to even hear. But so we can get kangaroo. We can get, can we get ostrich?
I think so.
I think ostrich.
There's an
shark.
There's an emu farm north of Nashville. We've never done a video on them yet.
Oh.
But that may be, I've heard emu and I haven't had it. It's the equivalent of like a high-end steak for birds.
Yes. It's like almost a red meat, I think. Yeah. I would love
that. Would
be
good.
There's a lot of stuff I would love to cook, but I'm the gas, she's the brakes.
Yeah.
So we'd probably be extremely broke because I would want to cook everything under the sun and she'd be like, okay.
Or buy everything.
It's no offense to Livingston people. Most small town people aren't willing to go adventure this stuff.
No.
Oh, no.
That type of stuff would do really well with pop-ups in Nashville.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Or pop-ups through us.
Yeah. 100%. I more want to try it because I've never eaten kangaroo. So
my wife has eaten kangaroo. I've never eaten kangaroo.
I'm just like I'm the curiosity.
Yeah. The worst meat I ever had was donkey.
Ooh,
and donkey smells like it tastes. Horse is a mental thing. Because you're like, oh, I know horses are so nice and they're so.
I couldn't eat a horse.
I could.
I know.
It's good, but it's a mental thing that you have to get over. You're like, oh, I just pet a horse last week.
Goat has been the worst thing meat wise I've had, and it was just super slimy. And I don't know if it was the way this lady cooked it, but I was like,
probably I've had an amazing goat. So.
Got to be how
we did lamb.
Have you had oxtails?
I have some. That's on my to cook list.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to do it as a special because they're expensive.
Really
they're expensive and it's really hard meat too.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if people would really appreciate it either. I don't know.
They may.
Yeah.
They might.
They may on that.
They might more so than other things.
But a lot of people, whenever we do ribeyes, we sell out every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of that is we don't really have like a great steakhouse around where we're at. And I smoke the ribeyes and I'll get them cut like inch and a half thick. And a lot of times we'll just buy the whole roast. Like last time we just bought the whole roast and then I just cut it myself.
Yeah.
But people go nuts for that. On Valentine's Day, we did ribeyes as a special. Inch and a half ribeyes. I smoke them. So if people were ever like, oh, can I get mine? No, because they're smoked.
It's just one way.
It's totally different.
Smoke them, it's one way.
I'll smoke them and I'll sear them. And then we put them in just a thing of butter to just kind of sit in.
But we sold out of them with a pre-order.
That's awesome.
And had to go.
We did it. It was Valentine's Day was on Friday. We got a roast, had them cut it up, and it was 11 steaks. We had pre-sold 10 of them by Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to have some ticked off people if they come Friday expecting to have ribeyes there. So we had to go to a local place, get another whole roast. We had 22 total ribeyes. We sold out by 2:30.
That's awesome.
So people like their steaks.
Yeah.
And I think for us, we're just fortunate enough to do that. But I mean, we did pork steaks recently, which is definitely a thing around here. I'd never really heard of that before, but we do them a little different. We don't cut them thin, grill them, and then do vinegar sauce. I cut them thick. I will put rub on them, smoke them, and then we pull them off about 165 or so, put them in a aluminum container with tons of butter, and then just let them braise for the last little bit until they hit about 200. And then they're just fork tender.
Yeah.
Have you combined it with any type of apples?
No. Huh.
The Granny Smith with pork is amazing. Good. Yeah.
That sounds good.
What piece of advice would you give somebody that's looking to open a restaurant?
Don't. Just run away.
Every single podcast, somebody says that. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Man, you just need to have a really good business mind. You know, Nick and I were very fortunate that we had really good people around us to help us out with that part of it. My stepdad, and he was just very big in that for us. And so, your numbers. Perspective, you know, you really have to know, like, I feel like we have such a great product, you know, and that's just coming from, I'm confident in what we're doing. Not in a cocky way at all, but just more of, people tell us, you know, we get a lot of really great feedback. We've got great reviews on Google. We've had honest people, you know, we've had people who love one thing and don't like another, and that's totally fine with us. But being confident in your product that you're putting out is really big. But knowing how to manage that is even bigger, you know, because I feel like a lot of restaurants and a lot of places don't do well and they crash because of that. You know, you have to have a realistic mindset that not everybody's going to love your stuff, and that's okay. We are not for everybody, and we understand that.
That's that phrase, Jesus couldn't please them all, and we don't serve ice cream. So
yeah. So knowing how to navigate that, you know, knowing how to just have this realistic mindset. And when you're struggling, changing that perspective of like, it's going to get better. You know, we were in Livingston, and that's a very small town. You know, it's
4,400 people.
Yeah. People are traveling through to go to the lake. You know, a lot of times people aren't traveling there to necessarily eat. And so before y'all came, it was very like, I think I was more of like, it's going to happen. You know, something big's going to happen. And for Nick, he was just like, I just want people to eat good barbecue. You know, he was really struggling, really big time. Yeah. And I think you more so do in this type of thing because it's a labor of love. I mean, he's out there. It's hard. It's very strenuous. And I don't think people understand how hard he truly does work. You know, he's up very early in the morning and bending over and doing the briskets, and they're heavy, and wrapping them and then tending to the fire. It's not like we don't flip a switch and wait for it to cook. You know, he's literally out there doing that. So it may seem like he's sitting in the pit house, he's working. You know, it's always working. And so I think that being able to manage is the big thing, because I think a lot of people crash and burn because they don't have that realistic business mindset. And so that would be the thing for me.
I would definitely say that, but being consistent.
Yeah.
So if your dog dies, if it's rainy out, if you stubbed your toe getting up that morning, you still got to produce really good food. You just have to, because if you don't, if somebody comes and goes, oh man, the brisket was really good on Monday, but I went on Thursday and it was so, that's not going to work. It has to be the best possible thing you can produce every single day, no matter how you're feeling, no matter what the weather's like, no matter what life circumstances are going on, you got to produce every day. And for us, like, I'm the only pit master. So if I'm having a bad day, suck it up, Buttercup. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Brisket ain't going to cook itself. So,
and he's wanted to be done multiple times because of that, but he persevered and pushed through. But with that, you know, we've thrown away, like, he may have burnt some ribs. We throw those away. You know, we don't serve
something
that isn't to our quality.
I'm not serving somebody something I wouldn't eat.
Yeah. And everybody knows that. Our crew knows that. You know, our guys who are up there slicing meat, like,
we give everybody that slices the permission to, if they see something that's not great.
Same with our sides. You know, if the sides don't look right, taste right, you toss it and you make it again. You know, it is what it is.
People work hard, and they are choosing to spend their hard-earned money at our place. That means a lot to us.
We don't take lightly at all.
No, not at all. And so just to go out anymore is expensive, but to come and eat barbecue's not cheap, or at least good barbecue's not cheap. And so we feel very grateful that people even show up, locals, but then you'll get people coming from Atlanta, from Nashville and stuff like that, and Knoxville and stuff like that. And we're like, holy crow, like you took time out of your day to intentionally come and see us, to spend money. And they're not, a lot of times if they're traveling that far, they're planning on spending a pretty penny.
Especially if they're going to the lake.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Because people are getting in bulk, it's, we've had people come in and spend over $500 just there in the restaurant. And that is very humbling. It's a very humbling experience to have. So, and
we have had somebody request the Explore Nashville tray.
Yep. I think it needs to be a branded thing on the menu.
And so we had to go back and look and go, okay,
how did we build this?
Yeah. How did we even do this? How much does this even cost? And so it was, that was pretty cool to be able to look back at that and be like, okay, we got to do this. Yeah. They ended up getting more than
7 guys
on the tray.
Yeah, 7 guys came in together and shared it and got more stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it was pretty wild. Yeah. But yeah, so it's pretty cool just to see that. So consistency, having a good business model, knowing your numbers, being able to track that, trying to figure out patterns. Good luck with restaurants. I mean, we've opened up the trailer and we've been able to dial in the numbers a lot quicker than we did the restaurant, only because that could even be
never done it before.
That could even be like the fail thing, is figuring out the numbers. And we live by kind of a rule of 2. If something happens 2 weeks in a row, then we adjust. If it happens just 1 week, we wait. If it then happens the second week, then we change. But if it only happens 1 week, we're not freaking out and whatever. Like when we opened up on Mondays, we did 30 rack of ribs of baby backs and we sold out in, it was ridiculous. It was under an hour. And we're like, well, we got to do more ribs. So we doubled it the following week and we sold, I think, maybe 45. And then we're like, okay, we'll do 50 rack of ribs. And then we sold like 35. And then we're like, okay, we'll do 40 rack. And then we did like 20 some. And so we're like, okay. So we freaked out too much. So it's just like, we try to live by that rule of 2, letting things happen 2 weeks in a row, and then we adjust. So with the trailer, we've been able to kind of dial it in a little quicker, but summer's coming. So as much as we think we have it dialed in, then they'll have those entertainment nights.
Years go on, we'll be able to look back at the year before. And okay, there's the trend a little.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for driving in from Livingston, Tennessee.
Absolutely.
Where can people give you guys a follow?
Well, we are on Instagram. And what's our handle on Instagram?
So all of them are at Brazen Q. And then TikTok is Brazen.Q.
So we have Facebook, which is Brazen Q, Instagram, which is Brazen Q, and TikTok is Brazen.Q.
Yeah.
And then our food trailer is a little bit different, just so we don't confuse people, I guess, when we're posting. That's Brazen Q2 TOO. And that's on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for the sausage. Thank you guys for coming in from Livingston, Tennessee. Make sure to go to Livingston and check out their barbecue restaurant. Thank you for listening. See you on the next one.